Brings me to a point I wanted to make this morning, reaching towards being wiser, and the notion of adult growth that I expressed by drawing this graph. You remember me talking about the lecture I gave to the Childless Quest class, and I brought out the fact that the standard graph of adult growth is one that goes up like that and curves down to a steady state at 25, and then it goes on down. Now the normative graph of adult growth goes up to 25, and then you're really warming up, and you're moving on up, and you're becoming a stranger to yourself each week, and you're becoming stranger to the people that are younger than you. And there's an enormously complex, paradoxical view of life in that simple graph, in that the elder is moving so rapidly away that the leads are well beyond the next generation. There are tremendous, wonderful, rich paradoxes in that. And this dynamic goes on into the eschaton. If you think, say, of knowledge and understanding growing, and say you do have the straight line graph, which way should I be drawing this? The plus x-axis goes this way, doesn't it? Yes, for you people. So there's a graph about humanity's movement towards understanding, okay? Starting at, say, 0 at the Big Bang, or the Big Bang of 7 million years ago, or the 0 of each of our conception. That, from that 0, you go up in a growing of understanding. The remarkable thing about our invitation to be is that it's an invitation to be everlastingly, in a state of increasing surprise. These are the last two words in my little group, Wealth of Self. Infinite surprise of the end state, which is endlessly beginning. And I'm thinking now of the elders in the room. There are 3 of us dancing around the 80, and we're elders in the sense that we're not just older. And when we talk, we're always reaching. We might just get the point yet. I'm thinking of Con and Patrick and myself. And we're trying for something that is related to Proust's achievement at the end of his great novel, Remembrance of Times Past. He walks across the room, as it were, on giant stilts. And this is an indication of the possibilities in your life. The last 100 pages is a party he goes to after 20 years to see old friends. And it's really just marvelous. I think Sandy has worked her way through this, and probably Con. And there's one marvelous sentence where he sees a group of people in the corner chatting. A group of old people, but not elders. And he says that they weren't elder, they were faded 16-year-olds. We have various beginners here. And the problem is not to be discouraged by the stabilizers. I'm thinking of the house where I was born, which is a stable for cattle now. So I'm able to say, where were you born? I was born in a stable. Oh, good company. And here I put this diagram. 48 is the page at the bottom of the Cajun method that I took this diagram from. 48 represents the present structure or the future structure. It's a quite marvelous heuristic. And our struggle this week has been to appreciate the capacity need that I am and my friends are. This is like reading the Buttercups. I am a potentiality for an endless expansion of loving appreciation. The hypothesis that God is understanding includes the vibrancy of the embrace of love. And the cosmos, in a sense, knows that. So that the universe is in love with God, as Lonergan says in chapter 20. And our invitation, especially those theoretically inclined, is to embrace back. At the end of the preface of the biography, I talk about Yo-Yo Ma embracing the cello. But the cello's embracing him. I had a wonderful week. I got a gift from our eldest son of a week with the cello. And it's an amazing experience. And the most impressive, in a very ambiguous sense, aspect of my week was the work you have to do to push down the strings. How many of you have tried the cello? Yeah? It's quite a job. It's not the guitar or the violin. So our effort is to sense and to see and to taste that we haven't got to grips with our capacity. And that our present culture, where we are in this century, is doing its leveling best to level us out. And this includes very willing parents. The willing parent who says, you must settle down. Isn't it a terrible phrase? Imagine if your parents were endlessly saying, I want to see you settling up. I talked to Richard about ballroom dancers I have met. We have an old man in our church, he's about 83, and at a party recently, he introduced me to his partner. And she was about 80, and he said she's just back from a trip. She was at a ballroom dancing competition. So life begins at 64 or 74 or 84. So you get into your 90s, and Con here led me previous year, to envisaging not just the 90s, but the noughties. So this little diagram is poised between the 5 levels that we